Hello and welcome to Confidently Wrong, a show by regular dudes talking with confidence about content we have no right to speak about with any kind of authority, but do it anyway. I'm Wesley Nakamura, and as always, I'm joined by award-winning director Brian Redondo and Savon Jones, aka Captain Bonnie. This is episode 207, and we wander into the wasteland in search of answers in the first half of Fallout Season 2. I'm confident that it's going to be the best show you've ever listened to, and well, hey, if it's not, you can always ask us for a refund.
Incredible!
Hello, gentlemen. Welcome back. It's Confidently Wrong. Good morning, Savon. How are you today, sir? Back with the ass so fat mug. He's guzzling that tea. It must be good today.
Snowy day. Get my gingerbread tea.
What gingerbread tea?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know you could have a gingerbread tea even.
Have anything, Wes.
Oh man, it looks like you got like a big old snuggie on or a big sweatshirt on. Looks comfy as shit.
It's like a cloak.
A cloak? It's just a snuggie.
It's not a snuggie.
It's a snuggie. Cloak. We're now sponsored by Snuggies.
It's not a snuggie. There's no like opening in the back. You have to put it over your head like an actual cloak, Wes. Textbook definition.
That's what a snuggie is. That's literally what a snuggie is.
So a snuggie and a cloak are the same thing?
No, a snuggie has armholes, I think.
Okay, this thing ain't got no armholes.
But then it's a blanket coat, situation. It does look like a coat. You look pretty awesome. I feel like you could go out and battle. A snuggie. Yeah, no, you're right. It's a cloak. But you look like you could like go fight crime in this cloak, but also be, just a badass vigilante. And I'm digging it.
I'm your new potions master. I'm your new defense against the dark arts.
Oh, I was just thinking you could hide. You're like the martial artist. You could hide all your knives and smoke bombs, and then if you need it, you got the submachine gun under there. Like that's what it's for.
I'm going for more of like a Palpatine dark wizard.
Okay.
Yes.
Like the action star who just like throws off the cloak.
No,
and all of a
sudden
now
they got the ponchos. They got the Clint Eastwood got the poncho and the machine guns underneath. You have a Lakers. Anyways,
are you feeling lucky? That's the vibe we're going for here.
Punk.
All right. This episode, we were missing Brian. He should pop in a little bit here. We're understanding that he's caught in a little bit of traffic. He's got an early appointment this morning or something. So he'll join us in a bit.
Serious Brian thing.
Yeah, so I'm kind of excited to get your take on this, what we're talking about today, because this so far has been a little bit of a confusing season for me so far. You will not be surprised to hear that, Savon. And I take I take like 90% responsibility. It's been really busy. So
Pump it up to 95 and we'll call it good.
All right, 95%. Because I think mostly it's been because just I've been like really busy lately. After the holidays came back, school has ramped up quite a bit, and there's been some turmoil at the workplaise. Not turmoil. That's not the right word.
Bring it back to 90.
Changes.
Dial it back down to 90. You're right.
All right. Yeah. So I've been enjoying the show for the most part. So we're gonna talk about Fallout Season 2, starring what's her name? Ella Purnell. Is that right?
Ellie Purnell, Walter Goggin.
And who plays Maximus? He's kind of the top guy here. Aaron Moten. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right.
I think it's Moten.
Okay. Well, those are the main guys, and then with some kind of satellite characters that show up quite a bit, like the brother Nathan. No, Nathan is that his name? Norm, the brother. And then we see, some of the vault dwellers are kind of regular show, appearances. But those are the main three that we get to follow the most, and a couple of fun cameos this season. Well, let's get into it. Season 2, sorry. We are 5 episodes in at this point as we're recording. There's 8 total episodes, so we're just over the halfway point. Things are starting to ramp up. Some of the conspiracy is being revealed, but not too much. Not too much. Still a lot of questions at this point. Going into the season, Sav, I know you've played some Fallout and you've been kind of a fan of the game property. I forget, did you really vibe with the season 1? Were you kind of okay on it? Were you someone who was like, meh, about season 1? How did you feel about season 1 and coming into season 2?
I'm trying to remember exactly how I felt, but if my memory serves me correctly, one, I am a longtime fan of the series. I played a bunch of the games, Fallout 3, New Vegas, and Fallout 4. Uh, I was not excited for the show. I thought that I had low hopes for the show because I thought, oh man, I didn't think they'd have faith to adapt the unique, kind of eclectic elements of Fallout, and I didn't think that it would survive a on-screen adaptation. I think that might have been one of the wrongest things. Like, oof, man. I know for our last episode about the, confidently wrong take of the year, I said I'm always right, I'm never wrong, which I stand by, but we could just recycle it to that one. I was like multiple years in a row levels of wrong on that. Of just not being right about having no faith in the show. I went in low faith was, and I was a really big fan. They did an amazing job of just adapting all of the very weird, goofy, niche satire elements of Fallout, but more importantly, make it palatable for someone who has never played the games. And I've met so many folks who've never touched the game series who love this show, which I think that's like a very high mark to give. So I went in with low expectations, was proven wrong in ways I couldn't possibly comprehend. Now I am a diehard fan, and I went into this season 2 even more excited. Hey, proof of concept, I am here for the ride. I want more. Give me more Fallout.
I think one of the strongest choices they made probably for that purpose was creating a whole new story. These characters, the main 3 characters are not necessarily characters that we've met before in a game. Is that right?
Right. So a lot of the larger story in the world is pretty in line with major events that happen in the game. Stuff that we know about, like Robert House is like an established Fallout 3 character. The Commonwealth Brotherhood is a very established, faction that you interact with in Fallout 4. The Legion and their whole thing, okay, that's exactly how they are in the games. The NCR,
They cracked me up so bad. Macaulay Culkin showing up, I did not expect.
And swear to God, that's really how them people are in the game. They are the worst. They are the worst faction, you can barely argue. Anyways, sorry, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Help me out.
You were just talking about how like all these factions and the larger kind of background story is from the games.
Yes, thank you. The larger world is pretty synonymous with how the games are and events and stuff. But our 3 lead characters are completely original, completely new. And to your point, Wes, that's what really made it stick for me was the familiarity of a world where I know the larger events that have happened from playing the games. And I know, okay, this faction does this, and that's cool and all. But how these specific new characters interact with the world, along with newer story elements and their own unique stuff they've come up with, is this really dope blend of, I know things that have happened in this world as a game player, but it doesn't really matter in the context of this specific story, because even if I know those beats that you may get to, you have no idea how Lucy, the Ghoul, and Maximus are going to interact in it or have things play out, and it's really fun and exciting to see. Yeah, it's a good blend of familiar but fresh at the same time, which is hard to balance, especially for...
Familiar and fresh. I love the alliteration, sir.
No problem, man.
Hat tip to you. All right. I actually don't remember how I felt coming out of... I'm also just realizing that in one of these notes you put Wesley as my name. Sorry, I got distracted.
You could have just fixed the typo and left it at that.
Wesley. You're my best friend. What is that? Like something with the Tessie. My best friend with the Tessie. All right. Focus. Sorry. Shiny object, squirrel. What's happening? All right. So yeah, I think my take on season 1, if I remember correctly, and I don't obviously remember correctly because that's my whole shtick, is that it was sort of it was nice, it was cool, but I don't know if I like fell in love with these characters. I mean, I think the Ghoul was obviously a standout as he was just like super cool. What a weird, version of a person, and just like totally unbothered by everything that was happening around him. And I think like the rule of cool applied to him, which was pretty neat. But other than that, I don't know that I like really, really like bit my teeth into the show. But I think that takes us sort of into the next part, which is I'm actually really enjoying this show in like one specific way, which is the rule of cool stuff. Someone is messing with their microphone. Is this Brian? Hello,
hey, Brian.
Brian walked in.
That
I'm
boy
gonna
coming.
mess with my microphone even more.
This
Just so
boy
you
peeing
know
up the mic, eating. That boy coming to the mic, messing with the mic, eating a sandwich.
Good.
That boy.
I'm glad this is not an audio only production where the cleanliness of the audio and
I'm glad this isn't a podcast or something.
yeah, comfort of the audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Brian
important.
Redondo. That's his music playing.
Yeah, there's music going on.
His
All
music-
kinds of things happening.
his
Hello,
music-
Brian.
Is there
Welcome.
music?
No, I'm
We
just
heard
saying
music.
the music in terms of just Brian noises of just mic moving and food.
Oh, is that what that was?
Just,
I thought I heard music too.
That's Brian.
I wish I had a theme song. Give me a theme song.
I don't have
You
any
need walk-up
glass.
Myself,
music?
where you at?
I don't have any glass to break.
You need walk up music
Hey.
like WWE.
Yeah, so I didn't have any glass to break. The
Oh, I
Stone
see.
Cold.
Brian, how's it going?
What up?
We haven't talked in a couple of weeks. Your Knicks are doing pretty good. Is that right?
No, they're not.
Oh, are
They're flailing.
Are they also in the doldrums?
They're in worse than the doldrums. They're like,
I don't know. I was telling
they're
Sav
in
the Lakers.
existential crisis.
Oh God, the Lakers don't have an existential crisis because we know who they are, and they have very apparent weaknesses in terms of athleticism deficits.
That's rough.
And it keeps showing up over and over again. So at least we know what they are. We know their weakness. You can work on it, right? Identify it. But yeah, the Lakers are clearly a team that's like tired and they're burnt out and they're ready for like the All-Star break to happen so that they can get recharged a little bit. And that's the vibes we're getting from the team. Plus they missed Austin Reeves, which is nuts. It's just been without him.
Welcome to the Ringer Podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, Brian, we're just talking about like how we thought about season 1 and maybe our expectations for season 2. And I was saying that one of the things that I've really been, this is not, I guess, an expectation, but this is actually what I've been feeling is like the one thing I've really been enjoying about the show in season 2 is just like all the Rule of Cool stuff. So there was a pack of ghouls dressed as Elvises because they went into New Vegas for no reason, just for fun, that they had like a little showdown. There's been some like interesting robots. There's been a character named Bud Askins who was past tense, kind of an interesting like just absurdity. There's a whole group that has Macaulay Culkin and they pronounce Caesar as Kazar and they get called out on it and they're like, they double down on it. They're just like, no, it's Kazar. And she's like, well, you're not really German, so I'm not sure why we're going with Kaiser here, but sure.
They don't do the soft C. No soft C for them.
Yeah, even the ghoul was like, y'all have missed many things, including the soft C. The soft C line was hilarious. Yeah, that Kaiser bit is just chef's kiss from the ghoul and the nerd of the group.
And the best part so far to me has been that there's a hammer in the show that shows up.
The super sledge.
With a jetpack behind it. Doesn't really seem to change how the physics of the thing works. It just seems cool, and they imply that like it has more power this way, but like the way it moves doesn't imply that it has any more power than a regular sledgehammer type
I was
object.
so confused by that weapon. I
Why?
thought it was a
It was just
blowtorch
awesome.
Y'all never
at
played?
first.
Oh man, so y'all never seen that?
And then it turns out it's a jetpack on the hammer.
It's in Fallout.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In Fallout, dude, the best part about that scene is that so many times in the games, I absolutely have my character decked out in power armor because it's a power armor build, and I'm running through buildings doing exactly that. Just lighting shit up, smacking shit with my, like, I have my gun, and I'm like, I could, but I have a big suit of power armor and a rocket hammer. I'm not just
It's
gonna
on
smack
brand.
them in the head. Like, that was one of those.
Savon loves the hammer / melee weapons.
Yeah, but anyone who's played Fallout has done that in the games where they're just in power armor, just absolutely obliterating shit with a hammer, not taking it remotely seriously. Like that was one of those. Yeah, if you gave me a rocket hammer and a suit of armor, most of us would do the same thing. I don't care what your background or training is.
Yeah,
such a good
and
thing.
and there's been some rule of gross stuff. Like there was
Amazon.
flea soup. What'd you say?
Well, it's Amazon.
Yeah,
Amazon has no qualms about just their vine. Yeah, just like every time me and Tony watch these shows, she always chooses to like be eaten, and I'm just like, I don't know why you be eating during these Amazon shows, like during The Boys or during Invincible or during this. I'm like, why are you eating? You know that suddenly someone is gonna get their shit rocked, and it'll be
it's not even
anatomically
just
correct shit rocked. It won't just be an old anime flag. No, they'll show you what happened when you get punched in the chest cavity. I'm eating.
Yeah. It's not even it's not even just the gruesome or the blood. Like, that actually hasn't been as over the top as it could be. It was like the flea soup bit in the
That was
second
nasty.
episode.
That was probably the worst one, honestly.
Just straight up nasty.
Yeah, it was just like,
But like, who thought of that? And like, I don't know, kudos to you for putting that on screen and making it as gross as possible without being throwy uppy gross, but like skin crawly. I don't know. It was.
Why did the vendor shake the fleas out of her hair?
Yeah, right. Like,
the soup?
fresh.
it's just something
fresh.
I've never seen on television for
yuck.
and before, and I commend them for going there
Fresh, baby.
because it does seem like, you know, someone could do that in this particular world. That's, you know, so there's been a lot of just very visually funny gags or very interesting gags or cool action scenes. And I've been enjoying that aspect of the show, you know, on a different level than I think I did for season 1, even though I think a lot of this happened in season 1 as well. All right, let's keep going. Season 2, though, we're really starting to peel back a few of the tiniest of layers into the conspiracy, into what actually happened pre-war to get us into this, get our vaulters into that situation. We're getting to learn a little bit more about the Brotherhood and what their worldview is. We're getting a little bit more on like just how effed up all of this situation is. We're seeing more about the Ghoul's character, or what's his name, Cooper Howard.
Cool.
So his pre-war life, apocalypse life, and how he actually was a soldier at one point, and we're starting to see more of that because we got to see a little bit of his Hollywood life, his later, like, you know, middle age part, but we got a little tiny glimpse into his pre-war life and how that intersected with corporatism in, you know, in that world. So just some more world building, some more story, a little bit more conspiracy happening. Sav, how have you felt about the story so far? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm extremely happy. Again, like I said before, the story is this really dope balance of major plot lines from the game. So if you've played the games, you know, oh, this is a factor. Oh, this character is in play. And then just you knowing that this character is in play, like Robert House, you already know, okay, XYZ is probably going to happen. Or, oh, there's a Commonwealth Brotherhood. Oh, okay, then that probably means we're going to have this character, which XYZ, you go from there. That's the familiar part that I'm rocking with because, okay, I already know the lore. I've played these games all these years. But the really exciting part is that the show is doing such a good job of weaving the questions that the games never answered. The show is exploring that, and that's really what's got me wrapped in. You never quite learn who dropped the bombs, no matter which game you play. You just know that the bombs got dropped in the middle of like a, you know, a Cold War Red Scare type deal. But now we're deeping into who, the details. Even just that Vault-Tec meeting of them planning the end of the world, you didn't get any of that. And so for me, just them filling in the blanks of this world with this story has really got me like intrigued because I have certain questions I have the answer to already as a player, but bigger questions that the show is hinting at that, like, oh, I didn't know that we had a second bombing. All this Vault-Tec stuff with Bud and then, you know, and the dad and all that is relatively new. So I don't know what Vault-Tec's true. And we can hint at what their end game is, but we don't know exactly how it's going to play out. The stuff with Lucy's vault and the brother Norm, I don't know what the F is happening. I mean, I'm piecing stuff together now because we're getting more info, but like all the actual boots on the ground stories, we don't know what's going to happen, even if we know what happens in the larger world. And that's a really cool blend of knowing, but not in a way that takes the stakes or the wind out of the story. And again, I think that's a really hard balance to strike of a story that builds off stuff folks know that someone like you who's never played the games can appreciate, someone like me who has and knows stuff can appreciate. I just think that's really good writing to make that work. But especially but my big thing I'm interested in is like, what was the story behind that second nuke getting dropped? I did not know that they were rebuilding civilization on the scale that they did, especially when you get the Maximus flashback, and just how that all went to shit is one of those, okay, how? So
Heartbreaking.
yeah, so I don't know if that kind of answered your question. I guess the large answer to the question is I really am digging the story, and there's just so many questions that are answered and unanswered that I'm excited to see, and that's just got me hanging on to every bit of dialogue because I'm actively trying to be like, all right, what is their plan? What do I know? What do I not know? What's the end game? What questions need to be answered? And if you've got me that locked in, I mean, that's a good sign. I'm invested.
I don't think you're wrong, and I think my experience has been a little bit different, and I wonder if it's because I haven't played the games actually, that like actually a little bit I feel like there's too much going on and we're not getting enough time with any of the sort of plot threads that are happening right now. So like there's Maximus and the Brotherhood. We get a little bit of time with them. There's Norm and his struggles in Vault 3031 that are happening, and we get a little bit of time with them, but we're still a lot of questions there. We get the Ghoul and Lucy, which we're spending the most time with them. So their story has progressed, I think, a decent amount. We're getting flashbacks to pre-war stuff with Cooper Howard and how some of the things there a little bit in his interactions with Moldaver or her representatives, but like not really. And there's just so much that's sort of floating around right now that I'm like, whoa, there's a lot to keep track of and a lot to take in. And I don't know that I've really invested in any of the stories. Oh, there's Hank now, right? Hank is now on his own story, or his own pursuits. So all of this stuff happening all at the same time, and sometimes it feels like we're just sort of like spinning the wheel a little bit, and we're just kind of like, okay, we get an update here, 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 we get an update here. And by the time they come back to it, I'm like, what was the last thing that happened with this group? Or like, where are we going with this? And it's been a lot to sort of keep track of as someone who's maybe not as familiar with all these characters, or maybe hasn't loved all of the characters as much as maybe you did. So that's sort of been my take. But I don't know, Brian, where are you
It
kind of
kind
at
of,
on the story?
to your point, it kind of reminds me of mid-series Game of Thrones when there are so many pieces on the board and they're all in disparate parts of Westeros and what's the other place called? Enos, or whatever.
Easteros.
Easteros.
Yeah.
Essos.
Northeros and
Essos?
Southeros. Essos, that's the
Essos.
word. And how it was really unclear when and how all these characters were finally going to collide and these stories were going to intersect, and you're just kind of like waiting for all of that to pop off. That's what the first half of this season of Fallout Season 2 has felt like for me, definitely. Where and like, unfortunately, in the comparison to Game of Thrones, where, you know, even though these things are happening in their own corners of the universe, they're equally interesting and for the most part, and most of the characters are so compelling that you're just along for their backstory of a ride. I don't think that's the case here in season 2 of Fallout. Like, some things are more interesting than others. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of do not care about what the Brotherhood is up to. I didn't really care about two warring factions of the Legions and their soft sea deficiencies. You know, some of the backstory with Cooper himself is, it does raise a lot of questions, but at the same time, it's a prequel within the show itself, and you know, in some ways it kind of like lacks a little bit of mystery and urgency, because you do know how it turned out, and connecting those dots maybe matter a little bit less in this world because the world itself is just so crazy and bonkers. And to me, that really is the entree that Fallout should rely on, right? It's like seeing how the world has played out in this funky post-apocalyptic way is where the fun is at for the series. And so, yeah, not everything feels like it, you know, it has the right weight to merit its screen time, and it leaves you hanging and wanting, you know, you want to spend more time in other places, but the show is busy showing you these other pockets of the universe that, without giving us much of a reason to stay within those corners. uh and yeah, and so, like, for me, the show becomes less about the overarching story and more about the bits. Like when do we get a good bit is the appeal more so than what's happening throughout the season.
In terms
We've
of what
gotten
you're
some
looking
good
for, in
bits.
terms of what you've got.
In terms of like what is most compelling about the show. It's like the bit of, you know, who the drug seller that you know, is like picking flowers, is on his way to New Vegas or whatever, and then gets abducted by Bud. Is that his name? By Bud?
Mm-hmm.
Hank?
Or by Hank, who gets abducted by Hank, right? Like those kind of bits, the way that they play out are just like fun and funny, right? You got like the old timey music playing,
Mm-hmm.
and then Hank is like, "Are you ready to lose all your memories?" It's like, "Oh yeah, I do want that." Like that's hilarious. And it's that kind of stuff that I think makes the show a joy to watch. But like the reasons why all that stuff is happening, or you know what's going on in Vault-Tec, like yeah, I'm curious but maybe not so curious. And that has to do with the tone of the show, right? Like the tone of the show is a little silly to some degree, right? Like the whole Vault storyline is very much like another sci-fi show out there called Silo, which is completely earnest and serious and thrilling and mysterious. And so like comparing the two, you're like, yes, I really want to know the backstory of Silo. Like how did it end up like that? Because the stakes feel so high.
Right.
But
The
in
lives
this,
the lives
because
of everyone in Silo matter completely. The lives and purpose of everyone in the silo right now don't matter at all, because they're like,
in the vault,
let's have snack club.
which is hilarious. I love that. Like that's a plot line, and like people are going there for the snacks and making up stories about, you know, being the
Inbreeding.
children of inbreeding, which is hilarious. But do I care about the outcome of these characters? Not really. Like they could all just be wiped out by a single button push, and I don't think I would care.
Oh, genocide. I don't care about genocide.
See,
Yeah,
I think
not on
That's a
this
strong
show.
take.
Not on this show. Everybody could die on this show, and I don't think I would care.
See, I guess where I get you, Brian, is that I agree. I like that I guess where I stand is that for me, the silliness and those bits of the Fallout universe and tone, because it's meant to be that retro futuristic, you know, that's a part of it's like a defining aesthetic of the show during that time of, you know, golden age America, you know, kind of post-war rebuilding. Like that's the aesthetic the show leans into. For me, it's a package deal. Like I like how in Fallout in general, the story is dark, it's gritty. When you get down to what's actually happening, the story is dark, gritty, the tone is really, really depressing. It's actually really, really awful. You know, it's supposed to be critiquing greed, capitalism, all that shit. But I think what makes Fallout work is that it takes what is typically a dark, nihilistic, not very joyful to watch setting and storyline and injects that ridiculous, absurdist element into it. And you get this weird blend of, for me at least, is an extremely dark and Debbie Downer story that is palate cleansed by also this absurd world that, yes, the world ended and that's awful, but also there's the parody element of no matter what, you go into a building, you see the skeletons are at the desk in full uniform, the body laid there, all like, I guess for me, Brian, I like those humor and bits, but that combined with the seriousness of the story is what uniquely makes Fallout to me. Otherwise, I'll be watching another just depressing end of the world show or another just like borderline slapstick comedy. But there's not a lot for me that merges that in the way that Fallout does. So I guess I'm saying all that to say, I love the bits and the world and the humor and all that. But to me, those bits and humor and all of that is what can keep me checked into the larger story, because I'm kind of getting a nice blend of things. I'm getting drama, but then I'm getting these ridiculous bits after. You're getting like to me what encapsulates why I like Fallout story and bits is that like the scene where Maximus has the scene when he's with the Paladin who's gonna shoot all the Ghoul children. It goes from
Kumail Nanjiani cameo.
It goes from the silliest shit of them broing out, effing around with the military equipment, the goofiest, funniest shit, to, oh, homeboy is actually an
Oh, we're about to commit a war
he's
crime.
absolute a fanatic of this organization. They're absolutely, and you've seen with other stuff how hardcore they are against ghouls, and he wasn't even half thinking about just slaughtering those kids. And it goes from, this is the goofiest, funniest shit ever, to like, the tension was, at least for me, the tension was through the roof when I was watching that. But for me, Fallout doesn't work if you don't have that serious element of the story. So I guess it's unfortunate that you can't connect to the story in that same way, because if I didn't connect to the story, it would just feel like childish bits, and I don't know if I particularly enjoy the show nearly as much, because then it just feels like we're making childish jokes and then kind of just going from there. But that's not really what I'm here for. But
speaking of childish bits, though, the child slavery bit was pretty funny. I will say that.
It's like I said, the whole point of the show
with the manager yelling at the children, like, only 10 more hours to go. Come on, kids.
Yes. And then he even says, it could be worse out there. Day. Most kids your age are dead. And it's like one of those, it's awful, but also like, he's right. But again, that's what makes Fallout good to me, is that blend of like, it's humor. It's like, ha 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 ha, it's funny, but not really. Like every dark awful shit people do, it's exactly. But I don't know. I think for me that dark obscene
also
humor
works on the level of like, it's an absurd like lampooning of our own society, right?
Yeah,
like,
100%.
We work ourselves to death.
Yeah, it's satire.
No, exactly. I think that's great. I just think that satire needs to be anchored by a serious story. That's what holds it all together for me. Unfortunate that I guess that story doesn't seem to be gripping you in the same way, because if I didn't like the story, I would hate this show. That was my biggest concern going into
I think I agree
going
with
into
Brian.
season 1.
I think I agree with Brian that I think the dramatic highs are not as strong as the comedic highs. And I think that's where you sort of lose that, right? Like the character sometimes being so far of a caricature makes it really hard to invest in like the dramatic actual stakes of some of the moments. So yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of land where Brian is at on that one, but I do enjoy the bits quite a bit. They're pretty good.
They're good bits.
Yeah.
This show clearly knows how to have fun.
Yeah. Which I enjoy, and I think if you kind of smooth brain
the show,
to. Yeah.
If Fallout didn't know how to have fun, it'd be terrible.
It's pretty good. All right, so we're spending some time. Actually, let's get to this part because we already brought them up. So Brian, you mentioned that you weren't super into the faction around the Legion or getting to know them. I was asking Savon earlier before we started about the New California Republic and whether they had a bigger tie into the video games or whether they might come back later. And both of our interpretation was that, you know, we see these two New California Republic folks and they're probably just the last two. They're the soldier on that island in the Philippines who never knew that World War II was over, and you know, continued to fight anybody who came by because he thought World War II was still going on, like 10 years after the war had actually ended. Is it the Philippines? Maybe that's not the right place.
I think it's Japan.
I don't think he was in Japan. I think he was on some other island. Which is why he hadn't heard. He just like had never been given the message that the war was over. But are there any factions? Are there any sorts of groups of characters that really are having you locked in? I think to me the most interesting story, or the one that I pay attention to the most, is definitely when the Ghoul and Lucy are going, and a little bit of what he's doing leading up to his finding out that his wife is kind of in favor of dropping the nuclear bombs, and how he's sort of thinking about doing things that Moldaver wants him to do and stealing this cold fusion little doohickey. So those are the two stories I'm probably locked in the most. I actually am kind of enjoying the Brotherhood story in the sense that we're getting to see that there's different factions within the Brotherhood, and Maximus is grappling with, do I 100% just decide like I'm just going to pledge my loyalty to this group because it's all I have and it seems like they're the best of all the worst options, or do I actually need to like go out on my own and see if I can make it in this world apart from this group where I already have status, where I've been given this place of honor. But then he also realizes, wait, like I'm actually treated not like I have a place of honor at all, right? He's told that he's just a sword and he shouldn't speak as a sword. Like that's not his job. So I think there's like interesting things happening with Maximus having to confront like who he wants to be and what his purpose is and where he fits into that. So those have been the two areas kind of where I've been more locked in. Brian, where have you been sort of locked in if it wasn't with the Kaisars?
I mean, shout out to Macaulay Culkin for having such a cameo, short-lived cameo. When was the last time we saw him act? I think, but during that bit with the Kaisers, I'm reminded of maybe why he has not appeared in a lot of stuff. It wasn't great. I don't think he was great. Like,
he's a little stiff.
His like appearance was more interesting than his actual performance.
Agreed.
But anyway, like the Ghoul, of course, is probably like the best actor on the show by far. And I could almost watch him do anything. Like he could be sipping a can of Spindrift, and I'd be down to watch that. But
he would do something with the hat while he did it, and you'd be like, "Oh,
yeah." He would just give like a
Yeah.
a steely gaze,
yeah."
as he wonders about the direction of his life as he sips the bubbly soda.
His infinite life. He cannot die.
Aside from him, I'm surprised at how interested I am in what Hank is up to in his exec vault, where Cooper's family apparently is cryogenically frozen. And he's in there. He's playing with the yo-yo. He's getting better at the yo-yo. He's trying to, run some tests, some mind control tests on mice. And then with human subjects, and he's all alone in there, and he reminds me of like these corporate stooges who are so just like happy and go lucky about their corporate stooge life, and just going about it.
Yeah,
going about it in aw shucks way, but doing some really dastardly stuff.
Heinous.
He is exploding people's heads. Totally unfazed.
Not reminder of Brian. He is. That is him. That is him. Just
yeah. That is the embodiment of like the Vault Tech corporate world and the people that inhabit it. And I think the show pulls off like that nice touch of sinister, absurd humor, kind of charming, all at the same time, and curiosity, right? Like to me, like that almost is more interesting than seeing the flashbacks of Cooper maybe going to assassinate, this billionaire guy. I'm more curious about what Hank is up to and what his end game is.
And who he's reporting to, or fake reporting to.
Or yeah, and
right?
He might just be doing that because that's part of his job description. Like maybe there is nobody he's actually reporting to.
But he thinks there might be, right? He says like, I'm gonna keep doing this for you, something like that. It was weird. Some weird stuff going on.
Guess we'll have to keep watching to see what happens.
We'll have to keep watching. Savon, which factions, which parts of the story are you really enjoying?
Wait, parts of the story? You're talking about like factions?
Yeah, factions.
Well, the Legion's awful, so easiest group to hate by a pretty long shot. I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna be gone with them.
Yeah.
This is a good question. I mean, I'm not gonna say favorite because let's just be honest. Most of these factions are all just different brands of suck. You're just kind of picking what brand. The closest one to decent is the NCR, and they're non-existent. So, you kind of put me in a rock and a hard place. I will say, historically, the Brotherhood is one of my least favorite factions in the series. I'm not a big Brotherhood of Steel fan, but I am enjoying the Civil War conflict. I'm enjoying even just seeing what the different factions of the Brotherhood look like. Again, to Brian's earlier point, one of my favorite things about Fallout is when you get to just kind of actually go into the present, and then you get to look back and see, man, what the hell went wrong 200 years ago? What happened that diversion leads to this happening? And even just that little lore drop about how the Brotherhood started, and then seeing how they could branch off into all these different branches that value different shit, some more religious, some more military, some more macho or chauvinistic, whatever it is. I enjoy that. But I'm in particular excited because they're hyping up the Commonwealth Brotherhood, who they appear prominently in Fallout 4, and now that we've kind of established that they're a faction and they're a badass, dangerous faction, I'm very curious to see just what role they're going to play in the story, because there is going to be a civil war coming. We've established that they're the most badass, strapped up brotherhood. They're going to want the cold fusion, and there's certain bits about their leadership I know from the games. It's like, they adapt this. Might be some interesting shit. So I don't like the brotherhood, but I recognize that the cold fusion being in play, them being on the civil war, and the Commonwealth being on the board, is like, all right, man, we're gonna have to respect whatever it is they on, because they've got like the big bargaining chip that everybody in the show wants right now. Like, you can't ignore the significance. Or at least now that Maximus has run off, but like the Brotherhood is directly connected to the most powerful, the MacGuffin of the show, essentially. And so it's like, all right, man, what the hell is gonna happen next? I don't know. I hope the Brotherhood takes massive L's. I hope awful shit happens, but I don't know. I'm here for the ride.
Does the Brotherhood have the cold fusion little chip?
They did have it, and then when Maximus killed the Paladin and went back and then went to kill his old leader, the cleric, and the shit popped off, him and his friend, they stole it and ran off with it while the Brotherhood is beefing, having their big faction.
Gotcha.
So right now it's in Maximus's possession and he's on the run. So we don't know what's going on. We don't know where it's going.
Okay. I was going to say, that hadn't really, despite it being a really important part of season 1, has not actually played a big part in season 2 so far. It's been talked about, but we haven't seen the fruits of the benefits of it, right? The Brotherhood doesn't look functionally any different than they did before without it. So hopefully we get a little bit of change on that front. And then the other thing that I've sort of been a little bit not disappointed by, but thinking like, well, like, why did that happen then, is there was this tying together of Lucy's story with Maximus' story in the first season. And then they even kiss and they sort of talk about how they're like, there's like mention of this in the series recap that, Maximus is thinking about that a lot. Enough that he talked about it with his friend in the show. And then they've been totally isolated in their totally separate stories, and that hasn't gone anywhere. And it sort of dropped off the story map for a while.
And Lucy doesn't bring up Maximus at all, right?
Right. And so not that it couldn't come back at some point, right? But it is weird that they did all of that at the end of season 1 and then haven't actually used that to the part of to push the story forward at all.
I think that's one of those. We'll see what happens these next few episodes. We know Maximus has broken off from the Brotherhood. He's not with them anymore. We don't know exactly where he's heading or what he wants, but I wouldn't be surprised if the plot put them on a collision course for this back half. Because he was trying to decide if he wanted to chase after her or not. But his whole thing was his whole loyalty to the Brotherhood thing, which I think they've kind of, like, that's what he's been working out these last few episodes. So I'm with you. My hope is that, like, that's something that gets picked up more on as we get into like this home stretch of the season, or we know there's going to be a season 3. Maybe it's more prominent then. Like, I'm tossing that up to like maybe this is a slow burn storyline plot, which sometimes I have to remind myself certain plots are a slow burn. You're not going to get back to it immediately. I hope they pick it up soon enough to where we care or there's momentum left on it, but I'm going to just wait for the full season before I make a call on that. But I agree, Wes. I'd be disappointed if like they planted that seed and they don't go anywhere with it. Unless it's, like I said, unless it's a season 3 thing.
And I'm like, it's kind of okay. They didn't need to have a romantic relationship in the show. The cold fusion thing being a little bit on the sidelines, I do worry about that a little bit. All right. If you had to survive in the Fallout universe, which, as we can tell, is based in violence and strength and a little bit of luck. We definitely
a lot of luck. It's a whole stat in the game, huh? Your luck.
Oh, really?
In the game, you have all your like different stats, your strength, perception. It's like special. Like that's the acronym. It's like what? It's strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence.
Anal. Sorry.
I forget what the A stands for. You just couldn't help yourself.
Attitude.
Something, and then like luck.
Agility.
But agility. Thank you. Actually, it's agility. And then luck. And your luck is a very important skill, Wes, where all kinds of dumb shit. Actually, I think there's a little mini game called Fallout Shelter where they added the characters from the show, and you can see what their stats would be in game, which I haven't looked it up, but like I'm
sure
curious.
Thaddeus has bad luck.
Not sure, but people make luck builds where their character is dumb as hell with low intelligence, high charisma, high luck, and you're basically playing like there's a skill in the game called Idiot Savant, where the idea is basically your character is so dumb that shit's just working out for you, and you have to have high luck and low intelligence for it to work.
Okay.
And like it's
You're probably a manager.
Bullets will just bounce off you magically. You'll get more money. The stupidest shit will happen. I swear to, when you say luck, that just kicks something in. People do luck builds, Wes, and it's the funniest, goofiest shit ever.
I would love doing
like
that
a Bugs
as
Bunny
like my
cartoon.
second playthrough, like just being like, how wacky can we make this game? You know,
so many fights where you get shot in the head and the bullet just bounces off of you, hits them, and they just explode. Only. It's like, oh, luck.
I need a hammer with a jetpack on it, though.
Hell yeah! Yes.
All right. If you were to survive in the Fallout universe, what would your strategy be? I think we actually maybe asked a version of this in the first pod we did about Fallout, but what would you now choose now that the world's been expanded a little bit more? How are you getting by in the post-apocalyptic world? Are you selling flea soup? Are you becoming a ghoul? Pretend for now that you can't just take yourself out.
Damn it! look, boy,
no nuclear option.
The hard read. I was like, can I just like eat a gun? Like, what the hell is like? This is awful.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I don't think I'd want to live in this world. So pretend you can't do that for some reason. How would you choose to go about the world? I feel like I would try to join the New California Republic. They seem like honorable people.
You would.
They took care of each other. Yeah. They seem like, if there's if I'm going to go out, at least I'm going to go out, knowing that like I took care of the people around me and, maybe we tried to survive it together.
Would you be hanging on by a thread like a last holdout? It's just you holding up the flag of the NCR. Yeah. And you're like, this is it. We're still going strong, guys.
That would definitely be me. I don't like the idea of dying, so I'd be hanging on. I'd be eating every last morsel of berries or leaves or whatever I could find until I died.
I mean, that thing's sweet.
Yeah.
No, let's see. The Legion's off the table because they're just a bunch of like rapist slavers. They just have no redeeming qualities.
None.
Maybe the NCR, but like they lost. And so I don't want to just be on like the Fallout equivalent of the New York Jets and just be like, okay, cool. Regardless of the location, what y'all got going for y'all suck. Like y'all need stronger management.
Yeah.
The Brotherhood is still also like they hyper military, sexist, and they barely got any ladies there. I'm just hanging out with a bunch of dudes taking tech. I'm not really into that. Honestly, man, I think I'd have to try and just either be a raider who's just like getting by robbing folks and maybe try to integrate myself into a vault. Like one of the chill vaults. I know the vaults are like a toss up of the most unethical experiment ever or the most unethical experiment, but they took over and made it into something relatively chill. I'm going to just roll my dice on the ladder and try and see if I can integrate myself and immigrate into like a vault community, man. Like in season 1, they had the people who were that was the one they experimented, but then they revolted. They took over. A lot of mutants and weirdos, and yeah, they worship the Ash Mother, and they got a weird religion. But it's like, hey, man, I'll take weird religion over just like rapist, cannibal people. It's like, oh, y'all worship fire and ash? I just saw Avatar. That's far from the weirdest shit that I've seen people do in a church setting. Like, I'm Catholic. I got ash. I have to get ashes on my head on Ash Wednesday. Y'all worship. That's just that stepped up, man. It's cool. Look, let me in. I'll worship with you. I'll piss off in the corner. Tell me what you do. Either way, I'm gonna pull my weight in this vault. Holler at you.
All right.
And if and barring any of that, I might just be like, I don't know, be a raider until I lose.
Brian.
I mean, I'm definitely anyone that knows me well knows I'm definitely a vault dweller. I'm like I'm sitting in my room complaining about shit that is probably meaningless to the rest of the world.
But
And
in the vault, you would have to do what everybody else told you to do, and it's also not
I'll
something
play
you
my
like to do.
position. I'll be like one of those gripey vault people who doesn't understand the magnitude of the situation. But I think
So
yeah,
snack club.
like,
So you gonna be running snack club?
yeah, I'm doing snack club, of course. We need the water, all right.
Wow.
But yeah, barring that kind of like fallback option, if I had to be out there, I think I'm just gonna be hopped up on drugs. Like I'm gonna become a ghoul or something, and just
Lucy
like
seemed very
hang out on
happy on drugs.
drugs,
Boy, she was so
and
lit.
be as blissful as I could possibly be. Like I am not like that in this world, but I think in that kind of world, that would be the only way.
Give me the drugs.
I'm just leading into it. Like I'll be a crack fiend. Fine. That seems way better than some of the other alternatives.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that answer.
Yeah, I like that. The funniest part about her being on drugs, that whole bit, is that again in the games, you can do drugs, and the drugs give you, stat benefits. There's drugs to make you stronger, make you smarter, slow down time, all reflexes, all that. And same
So
deal,
you're
bro.
incentivized to be a drug addict.
In the game, they call them chems, but like you can absolutely make a class where you can create your own chems. I used to have a bill. I used to make chems and sell them for money, and I never got high on my own supply. But you can make drugs that give
I'm glad you followed the
but
commandments.
you can do drugs that make you really good stat buffs, and you can absolutely get addicted. And the game will just straight up say, point blank, you are addicted to chems right now. If you don't take more of any type of drug in blank time, you'll suffer stat debuffs unless you can go and get Adjectol, the drug thing that she got. That was one of those, this is a 1-for-1 straight out of the game. People who have played have been through the loop of, fuck, I'm hooked on drugs. All right, I gotta go do something about this because I needed the drugs to win this boss fight, and now I'm walking out the boss fight just,
fuck, I'm feeling hungry, but it's not for food.
But like, on God, true life. Sorry, that was just an aside of like, I'm glad that y'all could appreciate those moments and it didn't feel like it was out of place or weird, because some of those moments there's a bunch in the show where I'm like, this is 1-to-1 a game moment, and I don't know if it feels cheesy from someone who doesn't know, and it's like, what's this weird scene? You know what I'm saying?
A little bit.
Like, I don't know if some of those feel out of place or if it works because the show doesn't take itself so seriously that like you're holding it to that standard of like, if they do some goofy shit, that's kind of just the design. But I guess now I'm kind of turning this into a question of like, were there moments like that with y'all that felt like video game moments, or this must have been a nod to the people who play? And even if it did it feel out of place or weird? Did it feel natural? Did it feel like kind of shoehorned? Like, because I'm loving that shit, but I don't know if y'all are even picking up on it or even caring.
That particular moment, I thought it was fine. I could tell it was like something from, something from the game or
you
that
on
world
drugs.
Or whatever. Yeah. Well, the giveaway is that like whenever they name something a dumb name, you're like, okay, like this is.
Oh, in the show they
even
pointed out, right?
Yeah,
it's called a free claw or something, or like an anger claw.
Death claw.
Death claw.
Yeah,
death claws.
It's called a death claw. Like she scoffs at it.
Yeah, even she's just like, okay, that's a little on the nose, and it's just like,
it's got claws, man, and it kills you.
Look, the
death
world
claw.
ended. Most people are illiterate in the wasteland. It's an easy thing to forget. We're doing very just straightforward, like, what do you call it? What it looks like. Shit.
Yeah.
You got a claw and it bring death claw. All right, what's next? None of this artsy shit.
Let's agree on a name that everybody is going to agree that that's the name of
the name needs to tell you what you need to know in the names alone.
Aditol. Great. I know what that does.
Context clue.
We'd rename our show Loud Faces.
Loud Faces.
So I got a question for you, Savon, actually. Like, everything that you're describing, like the game version of this stuff sounds pretty great and makes me want to play the game. What do you think is a better iteration of Fallout? Is it the show or is it the game?
I think they go hand in hand because they let you appreciate the Fallout world in different ways. You know, the downside to the Fallout games will always be that it's an RPG. There is no true canon story because you're playing as your own insert character who makes their own decisions on how they view the world. You could join the Brotherhood of Steel, the Legion, the New California Republic, and through the game make any of them the dominant faction and wipe out the others. You know, there's no true right answer to this. What I'm digging with the show is that what makes, and this is what the advantage of the show is, that the characters can kind of be self-inserts of different ways that players will play the game. You know, some people play a vault dweller character like Lucy, who's more of a morally good, I pretend the way I would have been before the world ended. Some people play a more Maximus style, I'm kind of just getting by, maybe military pro, and others play the Ghoul of just borderline villain. But like, that's the beauty of an RPG type game. But the show takes that and runs with it in a way where you can get a lot of different flavors of how people play the game, but not be constrained to one person you're following, which I really appreciate. What I also really appreciate with the show is that, again, RPGs have to have action and moments to keep the narrative flowing. For a show, you're not bogged down by needing action and fighting set pieces to move the plot forward. And so us getting all this focus on Coop before the war, all this world building and all of that is just really I just think all that world building is something that it's a unique opportunity that the games have a harder time doing, that the show, as the medium it is, takes. Basically what I'm saying is that the Fallout show takes full advantage of being a TV medium in telling stories in a way that games just aren't able to. And so not one better than the other, but the show is like fully taking advantage of like, hey, what can we do that the games can't do? And I think that's why this show for me has been such a knock out the park. It's not just giving me more of the same. Does that answer your question?
Thank you for that very thoughtful non-answer. Appreciate it.
Which one? Yeah.
Well, and hopefully not falling into the trap.
I'm kidding.
I'm gonna pick the games. I'm gonna pick the games because I like to do my own self-insert character and make my own decisions to influence the wasteland, and I have a lot of fun with that.
There you go. We got there.
Because I tend to play a more Lucy style character of try to be chill, try to keep my senses and keep it civil pre-war, but don't push me. You know, I'll still shoot you in the ass if I got it.
All right, friends. Well, I think that'll wrap us up there. A really interesting show. I think we'll probably keep watching this. I don't know, Brian. You're into it enough that you're gonna keep watching at least this season.
If you ask me to.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're down enough that you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna dedicate more time to this if we don't have to.
If he said there's no Fallout follow-up episode, he'll say, okay, cool, I'll watch Prime.
All right. But Savon, you're gonna watch it no matter what.
Oh yeah, this is like this is on appointment viewing for me.
I'm into it enough that I'm gonna finish the season for sure. I don't know if I'm gonna go week by week, but I'll binge it all enough, at some point. I'm into it. I like it. I do like the bits. I do want to see what happens with Maximus, even though his character is probably the least like interesting character to me, just because he doesn't know who he is yet, and he's kind of trying to figure it out, but like not in like an actual way. He's just sort of letting things happen to him.
It's too real.
Yeah.
It's too much like normal life.
Yeah. I think,
give me the fantasy build.
Honestly,
relatable.
bro, I think that's why everyone gets so frustrated. Literally everyone I talk to, whether they've played the game, know the series or not, everyone is like, man, Maximus be pissing me off. And I'm
like, just see our own worst.
Give me the badass fantasy.
Yeah, and I'm like, he been pissing me off too, but like, you don't do nothing like wrong per se. But to your point, Brian, I think he just reacts how an actual real life person would react.
He hits a nerve.
And I think no one can handle that.
We don't want to see that.
Yeah, no one wants to be like, people are like, oh, he started a war. Why did he kill them? I'm like, homeboy's about to strike down a bunch of children. But like, we've all had a moment. We've all had a moment where you're hanging out with somebody, and you think they cool, and you think you're having a good time, right? And then they pull out a cigarette or like a drug that's beyond what your comfort zone is.
Start bringing up Joe Rogan.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh shit, this got awkward. Like, oh shit, man, I'm already at your crib hanging out. We like been hanging out for a while. I'm at your house. You were my ride here, and now you didn't just say some weird stuff that's pro-president. And I'm like, shit. And I'm like, there's not really a right answer here.
How do I get out of this situation?
There's no right answer because he's just in these curb your enthusiasm style situations that is just like, I'm sorry, Maximus, man. There's no right answer for what's happened to you right now, but you're just gonna get the ass end of this deal, and people are gonna be mad at you. Like, you were right to stop him from killing the kids, but like, I don't know what to tell you, big dog. Honestly, that's how I feel through him playing through the games. I'll just be like, oh man, I thought we was chilling. Oh, this shit escalated. I gotta make a real decision. But in real life, I could pause and think. This man just... Nah, actually, I'm with you, Brian. He pissed me off, but I think we just don't like that he reminds us too much of ourselves.
It's too real.
If we were in real life, we wouldn't be cruel like the Ghoul, and we wouldn't be as earnest as Lucy, but we would definitely just be kind of vibe, making it, figure it out as you go as Maximus.
It's like, oops, I killed this guy. Oops, I couldn't kill the other guy. Like,
but it's like one of those, I get it, like, yeah, I get you didn't want to pop homeboy. You should have just shot his ass, but like, I get why you was hesitant. Because I wouldn't just be eager to pop somebody. Just an old dude went up and shoot him. Like, I get it, but hey, man, you a lead character. You like the pressure ain't on for me. The pressure's on for you.
All right, well, that'll do it. Hit us up on @confidently_pod. Did you enjoy, or have you been enjoying season 2 of Fallout so far? And are you locked in for the last 3 episodes of season 2? We're out of here. Have a good one. See you later, y'all. Bye.
okie dokie.